So good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to April. I'm here, Roberta Robbins, with my lovely friend Nancy Reed, and we are here to offer the April Sacred Rhythms forecast. And we are live in the Cosmic Earth Weavers community at the time. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking down at my community to see if there's any comments. And it is April 1st as we are doing this recording. So if you join, whether it's in the community or you find this recording somewhere else, like my YouTube channel or somewhere else on my social medias or Nancy's social medias, just say hi to us and let us know how you doing. How was March? Let's really think about how was March. How was 31 days of March for you? And how you feeling about the April 1st. So like I said, my name is Roberta Robbins. For those of you that do not know me, I am the sacred space holder, creatress of the Cosmic Earth Weaver group, and I am a healer, a channel. I support people to help them remember truly who they are, and I love connecting people with all of their gifts from this life to other lives and magical things and tools I have in my box to help them with that. So Nancy, who are you? I mean, I know who Nancy is. Why don't you tell the lovely group?
Thank you.
Nancy.
So hello, everybody. I am Nancy Reed, and I live on the West Coast. And I often refer to myself as a mermaid because I love the water and all things water related. But um, so it is kind of a joke between many people that know me, I love to connect people with joy. And I just happen to be wearing my joy sweater today and just bringing in all the magic to help you amplify, feel, and express your own unique magic out into this world, and allow you the space to believe and own that you have it and is possible, and that you get to create the life that you choose through your own wisdom and your own path, and obviously using all the amazing tools that we have available to us. And I'm a lifelong learner. Like, I always want to learn more, bring more into my wheelhouse, and as I do that, to share it out with others. And yeah, just love to believe in all the possibilities.
Yeah, of course, that loving to learn to share, that is definitely, part of my medicine too. But Nancy and I are both a ruling 5. And that is part of the essence too, right? One of our joys of what we do in our mission of that we keep on learning, we want to keep growing. And as we move that through ourselves, we also have this big desire to share it with everybody else. Right. And Nancy, I did not know that you were a mermaid. We're learning. She calls herself a mermaid. I'm a sacred weaver, is what I refer to myself, but not. I did not know. I don't refer to myself as a mermaid at all, but I could totally see this mermaid energy with you. I love that. See, we get to know each other, even though Nancy and I have been doing this for probably getting close to a year now together, this forecast. So we thought we'd do a little intro this morning because we don't always do that. We just start talking. Some of you guys don't really know us. So like Nancy said, she's on the west coast of Canada in BC. I'm in Ontario at the moment, but sometimes you'll also see me in places and spaces like Ireland, which the next forecast, I'm just realizing that I'm like, oh, I'll most likely be in Ireland when we do that one. Well, I will be. It's not most likely. I actually will be. Like May 1st. Yeah. So let's get into the energetics of this forecast. And for those of you that are new to how we weave this, Nancy and I, we are bringing our magical gifts and things that we've learned into our forecasts. And it is usually top notes of a weave-in of astrology, numerology, cardology, and also we throw in a little tarot, we channeled messages, the sacred rhythms of the year, the Celtic wheel of the year, things like that. And we've done together to support you through the next month ahead. Now, every forecast is a little different, even how we start it. and what's coming in and what we might do. And this morning, I was just sitting and with, thinking, okay, what is this month ahead? What's the energy? And I had to really sit and listen of what was being asked that I needed to do first. And I thought, maybe this is of importance for others. And it is, we just went through March of really 31 days, big, long month. And it felt like there was so much in it, so much, almost to the point that I was like, can I remember everything I've done? What did I do? I almost had a feeling last night when at bedtime and I had my journal. It's like, did I accomplish anything? What happened in March? And I was feeling kind of like, what? And this past weekend, I was like, there was almost like energy just trying to get in the rest of it. And it was like kind of energy, at least for me. And I was like, a lot of healing, a lot of things. Like I was like, ah. So I really had to stop last night as I knew, we're shifting into this new month and I can usually feel that energetic. And I try to like do a whole thank you for the month that just passed, welcoming in the next month. And I had a journal. I had to literally sit down last night, write down, well, what was March? And I had to like think, I had to go back to my calendar of things that I've done and I got 2 pages, full pages of things,
Mm.
still trying to jam in things, which this list is probably not done. And I thought, well, holy crap. It was a full month and there was a lot. But you know how that we have that tendency to not really realize when there's so many things, because it's just so many things that we need a breath and a few breaths just to go into allowing things to catch up and bring it all the way through from the mind and in and the body. Sit with it, breathe with it, allow it to have a space and a witnessing. And so I feel like this is when I was sitting this morning to do this and doing energy to alchemize this. So I was ready. I felt lighter and cleaner to come into April because I was almost feeling a little heavy in the energetics because there was actually so much going, pay attention, look at me, what's happened. And like I said, these last few days, we had our lunar eclipse last Monday, and we're in that energy, and we have our solar eclipse in another week. We're really at like today, last night and today, we are like in the sandwich heart still point of the two. And I'm just kind of like really feeling that anchor. So when you join us and when you get to this part, take a moment to feel that. And this month really feels important to feel the shifting from that month of March to this month, at least for me, and allowing things to move through, witness, alchemize in whatever way that might feel like. Even just saying that help me to recognize all that I've done, write it out, see it, feel it, sit with it, breathe, and then ask for the support for it to alchemize. And then there was also this morning, once I did that and I was sitting for my sacred practice, it was then I was showing, and maybe this might help you. I was showing this crystalline wall in front of me that was like diamonds and crystals, and it had dimension to it, and it was all fractal. And it was like me stepping through it, but it was like moving towards me, through me, so that it was bringing the light and the alignment through everything. So far, the first 3 months of this year, this past month, it was moving through and it was allowing that new fresh alignment. And it also was pulling through. I could feel this other wall in me, this other stuff being moved through with it to what I'm done with. Because we are done with certain things. We've been hearing it, and we know eclipse season, it's pivotal time, it's beginnings and endings, it's powerful. So if you can have that moment just to really get ready and be present into April, because we talk about new pages, new chapters, new identities, we're moving to something. This month feels like the month where we're really moving. It's like we've been moving. It's not that we haven't been in different ways, getting ready, we're moving, but now it's like in this eclipse season, there's something really going and moving. How do you feel about that, Nancy, energetically?
It's so like everything that you said about last night, especially, it was like we were watching a movie and I'm going to sleep and I'm like, oh, I'm not done yet. Like it's not time to go to sleep yet. It was kind of, and then I was like, okay, like what's happening? And then I felt I needed to, got up, came downstairs, and I needed to apply some of my oils just to help to release some stuff from the last 3 months, to then, but also to what the words that you were saying, like to embody and to alchemize, like to bring it all in. And then it was like, okay, I just sat down here applying my oils and journaling a little. And I was like, okay, now I feel ready. Like it, whereas, often I finish the month out, but it felt very different last night is the point of that. And like that I wanted to reach to more of my tools to just, to really anchor it in. And then when I went back upstairs to bed, fell asleep beautifully, and then just watched it weave through the night, through my dreams of just like, there was this thread that just kind of continued through. And it really felt very important just to witness, not to have to remember all the details in the morning of kind of thing. It was just like, it was like stitching it into my soul. It was kind of how it felt in my dreams of just like this remembrance, these learnings, these growings. And then it was like preparing for this next chapter, moving forward into all of this potential. And so then when you asked just before we hit record why I like April Fool's Day, because I had said to Roberta, I'm like, oh my goodness, I love April Fool's Day. It always just, I mean, there's, when you read the history and stuff, there's parts of it that are like, oh, that wasn't very nice, like why it kind of happened, But that being said, it was like, okay, leave all of the stories, of it behind, the energy of the day itself, what feels exciting about that to me. And it really is that stepping into newness, that potential, that unwritten blank page of a story. Like, what adventure do you want to go on to next? And like that, just that's what today's energy feels like for me. And so it's just like, yes. And I think I've always felt this, even when I was a kid. I used to be so excited about April Fool's Day, and everybody was like, but you don't do anything. Like, we're not like growing up as we weren't a family that did pranks on each other and stuff. And I was like, no, but there's just something about it that as a kid, I couldn't name. And now it's just like, oh, yes, it's just this excitement, this potential. And I'm really looking forward to this month ahead.
Do you
Mhm.
ever, or maybe when you're a kid, do you ever do any pranks on people, or do you
I
still?
never did. I enjoy watch, like there is a lot of creativity that can come out, express itself through pranks in the world. And I do, like, I was just going through my Facebook memories before we got on the call, and there had been some from past years that companies had done or whatever. And I was like, wow, there's some really creative genius in this world that puts energy to that. But it's never been something that I have partaken in. I just enjoy witnessing it. But,
Yeah, I definitely, when I was younger, would do little creative
mm, mm,
things. Haven't in a long time, but
mm,
there is something about, we grew up hearing about April Fool's Day, a little trickster energy. It's a little trickster energy, and it's very, I see the red fox medicine and energy,
mhm.
playfulness of the fox coming in with this energy of this month. As I'm just like tuning into that. And, this one I did notice a lot of people, uh, not a lot of people, but like the memes and the various things. But I've been seeing people post the first card in the tarot deck, the Fool.
Yeah.
Did you see that this morning? Did anybody else?
Oh,
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Michelle. Um, and I was like, it is a beautiful card to represent the start of the month and the new journey for this particular April, I think. Now,
yeah.
of course, people are using it for April Fool's Day, the Fool, the Zero, things like that. But it's like we're on this new adventure, right? The Fool's card, he's got his little bag on his stick. He's ready to go. He's leaning off the edge of the cliff. His little dog is kind of like, hey, buddy, watch it. You're on the edge of the cliff. But he's like got his little companion that's going to go with him. And he's about to meet the magician on the first part of the journey of the tarot journey. And he gets to choose like all of his tools. He gets to see what is all there. And for those of you that are joining a little later, we just went through a little bit of little something about clearing and cleansing to actually prep yourself into this month. So you might want to go back to that once this video is done. But it almost feels like this importance to cleanse, witness, march, and to move in through this field, this crystalline wall field, to get yourself ready and go, there's something fresh and new and still unknown, but the excitement of it. And what will we take with us? What have we learned and we're bringing with us? And what can stay behind? And that's what the option of the Fool on his journey and the meeting the magician on the very first major arcana is, what am I taking? What are my gifts? What are my sacred options and items right now? So potential, I heard you say potential. Nancy's feeling like there's a potential that's there for April. And when I was sitting, what the energetics, I kept on all this morning, alchemy, 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 alchemy. I'm like, okay, the word for this month, potential and alchemy. And like I said, we're still in this beautiful eclipse. Now, I really hope you feel a beautiful eclipse. They can get bumpy. We're in this eclipse season, right at the still point today, between that lunar and the solar. And we have a new number in numerology. This month is going into 3. I felt like I kept on how to recalculate, like to make sure I was right. I was like, really 3? Was it really just a 2? I mean, when we go through this every month, Nancy and I have our books and things, but I was like, everything's going so quick that I almost feel like, really? Are sure we're not on a 4 yet? Like, no.
Totally.
3, this 3 energy of abundance and possibilities and blessings coming in for us, and the newness of everything. And then today, of course, we have our favorite planet, Mercury, going retrograde. We've had all planets going direct for a while. It's been no wonder the energy has been really fast too, when all the planets are direct. So here we are. Mercury happens 3 to 4 times a year because he's very fast moving throughout the system, solar system, around everything. And here he is. He's like, hey, I'm back, or she's back. How do you feel, masculine, feminine? With that one, that's a good question. Masculine or feminine for Mercury?
I think masculine.
Masculine. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I feel masculine too. Probably because of the speed and the attention it wants. So I know part of my mission these last couple of years has been, Mercury, let Mercury be your friend. Stop with all, I mean, I can send a meme out there and it's funny. Like I saw one today for Hunger Games with
Right.
Elfie of, may the odds ever be in your favor, with, because it's Mercury retrograde. And
Yeah.
that's funny. And any retrograde, we can get so much from it. So here we are. Mercury's gone direct to the 25th. We're in this big, beautiful, expansive month. We are in Aries season, starting fresh, fiery Aries season, new month. We already talked about it being the new astrological year when we hit Aries. We've been in Aries already for like a good week and a tad. We will shift into nice, earthy, grounded, sensual beauty essence of Taurus, feminine energy, by the 19th of this month. It feels a little quicker. Everything feels quicker, doesn't it? Have you guys been noticing, for those of you that follow astrology, Nancy, have you noticed this, that switching where the sun is going into the next zodiac sign, they all feel really early because they'll have a little shifting, right, of the dates, but they all seem to be right at the beginning, like they can't wait to get started.
Totally.
Like let's get going. So fiery Aries, masculine energy. Mars rules this particular sign. So there is like the get up and get going and watch. Watch your behavior. Watch how you move forward. Don't be a bully. Don't push your weight around. Don't try to sway things and people and situations like a really unbalanced way, because that's the darker side, that's the shadow side saying, hey, bring yourself into a more balanced harmony. Go into the positive side of Aries and Mars. That is that new beginning, the fresh start, the initiation, the energy to help you move forward, to take action, right? It's not in us anymore. It's like let's have some movement. So Mars has that masculine action and the fire element in this, saying, I'm going to give you some power, but watch what you do with it. How will you wield this element in this season? And I have seen lately some like really swinging crazy energy from some people. I'm like, and there's some people I'm like, are they a freaking Aries? Like, oh man. So if you're Aries, extra caution. If you're another fire sign, extra caution. If you have a lot of signs in Aries in your chart, I have quite a few in my fire signs. Any of those, just watch the energy, because it is something we have to know how to embody in a very healthy way, our masculine energy and our fiery energy. Nancy is a Leo in her sun sign, right? Fire, movement forward, right? So we have to watch these things. The other big thing that's going on here, and you probably heard if you follow astrology, is Chiron right now. Nancy, you and I both have Chiron up in the same kind of area where we're right now. It's really dinging at Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. For those of you that don't know, it is really showing us where that wounds. A lot of them go right back to childhood, sometimes coming in a different way into this life. But when we get to our Chiron, the Chiron has a gift to transmute that into wisdom, into more for us to help and be a service and heal ourselves. And right now, Chiron's in the Aries. It's being highlighted, and so many things are aligning up with it for us to really turn over and go deep and saying, we're done playing in that. We've done a lot of work. Let's get going and embody it, transmute it, transform it into the wisdom. So that's the energy we're coming into just astrologically, definitely in the first week of this month. Nancy, what are you noticing in the first week and the energetics coming into April here?
Just so with being like, yes, okay, we're stepping into this three energy that Roberta shared about, right? The abundance, the creation, the potential, the amplification. So all of these things that are happening astrologically are also getting mirrored numerologically, right? Which all so often happens. It's funny that way, hey? But then it's like, okay, but remembering that we are starting in this spades energy again. And so if you're like, spades energy, what are you talking about? Roberta and I did a workshop last month. Hard to believe that. Anyway, but going into the cardology more to help you guys understand. So when we do these forecasts, but remembering that the spades energy is that digging, that mastery, that transformation, that growth. So we are prime right now over the next week, just to really be in this inward energy of what it is that we want to express outward through the remainder of April. But so giving yourself space and time in this first week through this energy of all of this beautiful stuff going on, the retrograde, the eclipse, all of the things, like, don't worry about what's going on outside, focus on what's going on inside, taking that time to alchemize what it is right for you and bring it out into the world, because then boom, next week we're into those beautiful little diamond energies, that physical energy. So allow yourself space, time, and grace this week. Feel your feelings. Don't, yes, we're like, this is a good, positive, amazing month, but also, the only way through all of our feelings is to feel them. So if there's things that are coming up for you in that shadow side, or just allow them to come up, reach out for support, use your tools, all of those things, but don't get stuck in it. This energy this week really feels like it is time to move through, not push through, but to allow yourself to move through. We end like Saturday has that 9 energy with that 2 of spades. So it's kind of like release, partnership, connection, but like, and then move into the next week. Boom, right on that. Like that solar eclipse is happening on that King of Diamonds. Like I'm stoked for next Monday, let me tell you. Anyway, so that's where the week feels like it, month feels like it's starting out for us.
Yeah, and I think that, perfect, of course, it's starting with that space energy. And like Nancy said, we did a workshop last month. It is in the Cosmic Earth Weavers community, and it is under the guides tab with the Wednesdays member share workshops in there. So that's where you can find it. And we go through the suits and the energetics. And being a spades myself, a 6 of spades. So today being the 7, and tomorrow being the 6th, this will be the last time my birth card will come up for this year, because it only comes up starts in January 8th on my birthday, and then we have 4, and then we don't see it again. This particular spades, certain numbers that are coming up, but that spade is at what it's like 4 months of like coming out of that winter crone dream time, going, okay, what's the medicine, the wisdom that you have, and get going. Because of the rest of the year, we really start to see the other spades showing up in their essence and part of their season more strongly repeating. And I love how you said like Monday being the King of Diamonds and 1 energy a
It's
day.
actually the 2. Sorry,
It's
it's
a
the 2.
2-day. Well, sorry. Yes, 2. Because we don't have a 1 in it. Well, we have, never mind. We're not even gonna go there. Let's not go traveling down that teaching line right now. So King, because I'm not looking at my calendar with these,
Yeah.
is King of Diamonds, which is that fresh, new, like starting of the diamonds and that earthly medicine and what you want and the abundance of that. So let's get going, right? And even the spades, we always think about the shovel of the spade of the shovel, digging, like there's movement. We want some digging up and going in, and what wants to be turned over and planted too. It's almost like we're prepping the garden too in some ways.
Yeah.
You know how I said, is this month not a 4? But today is a 4 energy day. So we're starting this month on that new foundations, the new garden, what we're planning, the new routines. What is that? So today, have that extra time, like we said at the beginning of this call, about clearing and prepping from March to come through to April. And also this, like, what do I want? What new routines, new things am I going to have to lay out for myself for this month to get into where I want to go? Let's talk about this eclipse season a little bit more since we're moving to that second week. I can feel we're going week by week, this forecast. So on next Monday, I'm doing this on my brain today, my brain and downloading. I have notes, but I feel like I really almost just want it to really come in too. So there's something about really being present and allowing something to come into you more for this month. So as we get to that next week and the Monday and the solar total lunar eclipse, it's a big one. There's a lot of chatter out there in a lot of different ways. Should I go out in it? Shouldn't I go out? What's NASA doing? What's 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 whatever going on? Why are these things happening? Blah 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 blah. Lean in, listen to yourself. I think that's the thing. It's like, how does all these things and this information feel to you? Because this is about you stepping into more empowerment and you knowing what's right for you, whether what you're going to do about the eclipse. If you go and look at it, please do it safely. Put those glasses. I don't have them personally, but if you're going to look at the eclipse, I think by now being adult and adulting, we should know these things. Make sure your children are safe. And some of you will be like, no, I'm staying in. I'm just being in that moment of the energy and feeling it and letting what needs to, like, that shadow, right? The moon, the darkness. These are in past times, for many, 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 many thousands of years, those were big shifting, apocalyptic prophecy type energy, especially the solar one.
Yeah.
So even feeling next Monday, as we know, there's that going into that darkness, it's like a cleansing, a clearing, and there's something almost moving away the old, so that when that sun is full and shining again, we're getting some different rays. We're getting some different energy upon us, upon this earth. There's something else that's coming in a new phase once again. So allow yourself to be whatever it is, but it is, I love that the energetics with the numerology and kicking into partnerships with the two and balance and harmony and the king. Nancy will tell you a little bit more of these things, but that fresh new stepping into empowerment and sovereignty as we move through that eclipse part. And then the rest of let me just get through. Like, I do want to say anything else that will
Yeah.
still in Mercury, our Venus. So Venus, the planet of love, ruling Taurus and Libra, it will move into Aries itself on the 4th. So this week we'll see that shift within that feminine in that planet, and which is a personal planet for all of us, moving into that fiery energy. So that feminine, sensual beauty essence going to have some fire to it within us and feeling that. So look at where that is in your charts if you guys know where to check, how to check that out. And as we move through that next week, to me, it's just there's that movement of the transition in alchemy. That's how I feel it. So what do you see for the numerology that's running through there? And because I'll talk about that a little bit of the new moon part of it, but numerology,
For sure. So like, we get this beautiful, like, once we've cleared through this first week, we go into the second week. We're starting the manifestation cycle, that 1 through 9. We get it to experience it twice fully this month, starting next Sunday. We start with the 1, on the 15th, we end on the 9, and then we start again on the 16th to the 24th. And so that it's just like this opportunities to continue to write these new chapters in our books, right? Just being like, okay, like that physical energy of the diamonds, which, it's like almost feels like if you enjoy writing, just spend time in that time physically writing things down. If that doesn't feel good to you, then speak your dreams. Maybe you dictate it onto your phone. That's something that I enjoy doing. And then hearing it back in your own voice is often very powerful. Get out into your garden, whether your garden's ready or not. Like, just get your feet out into your garden, get your hands into your garden. Think of those seeds that you're planting for the next 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, whatever it is, 10 years, dream big. Like, and then we go from that energy back to the club's energy, which is all about our thoughts, our communication, our emotions. And I'm just noticing now, when the day that we move out of Mercury in retrograde is a 9 of clubs energy day, right? So just releasing, just letting it go. It is partnered with that 1. So that really powerful energy of just letting it go, trusting out into the universe. You have planted the seeds, you have felt what it is that you want. Now surrender it over. It really feels powerful in the last days of April. Really does feel like this, okay, be really intentional with your thoughts and your feelings and how you're communicating things, and allow that universal support. Don't be harsh on yourself. Be gentle and kind. Kindness, kindness, kindness. That actually does really feel like a really big word for this month as well. As I was saying that, you kept talking before about, like, April does feel like that 4, right? And I'm like, yeah, I think because, the energy of April is the 4th month. But so I think part of that, but starting on that 4, but then even then I was like, oh, kind. I don't know what the actual energetics of it is, but it is that 4-letter word. It's a really good 4-letter word to embrace this month. There's other ones you can choose to embrace too if you want, but I feel like there's a lot of kindness that for ourselves, for others, for our communities. Let's just lead with our hearts and love in this month. That's really what I'm feeling when I look at all of the numerology, the cardology. It just is asking us to choose and to choose kind and love
So we're
and
putting
heart.
kindness and love, potential and alchemy into this
Yes.
beautiful medicine of the words that are weaving through energetically for
Yeah.
us for this month. And with that, like I said, I'm like, is it a 3 energy month? It is, but that 4, yes, it's our 4th month, as Nancy said. Today is a 4 energy, but also, that 4 with the planting and the gardens, and we're putting in the foundational things. We do start thinking about spring and what's coming up in our gardens. We might be thinking about what we will be doing to put into our gardens. Like a few of us, I mean, depending on where you live, where your gardens, what's happening, we always don't want to get too quick with some things because we still have animals, bumblebees, various things, that need us not to go too quick on our gardening out there. But we start thinking about that. And some of us have already started seedlings, so we're nurturing them in order for them to go into our gardens outside. But also what was coming up is, we have Earth Day on the 22nd of April. And that's so 2 twos, which gets the 4, right? It's like, I doubt that, I don't know, do you think they planned it on the 22 to make the 4, to make the earthy? It's very earthy. It's very earth, the 4 energy. So we also have that's coming in. So yeah, so much of that beautiful 4. And then we're ending with the 6, the love, the harmony, the kindness, everything Nancy was just saying. So there's balance between that 4 and the 6 and the 4 and the 6, but I'm also seeing a lot of that ending 9 energy that's coming. It's like completion, get moving, fresh start going. So Nancy, you've taken us up to the end of the month for those. Let me backtrack a little bit with the new moon that we have. So the solar eclipse we have on the 8th, we also have the new moon. Therefore, they go together, right? When we have the new moon, that's when the solar is. So the time, I think I did a post a while ago, and I'll probably redo it. Most likely did it last week about all the different times. Oh, I know why I did it. Because I was seeing people putting post things, tonight is the lunar eclipse. I'm like, no, honey, the lunar eclipse already happened. It's like, so I did a post about the times of that. So next week, focusing on that, it is a whole window frame, and timeanddate.com, at least that's one of the ones I go to, and I put in our location so you can see exactly where it may be traveling, where you live, when it's actually starting, when it's at its max peak, and then when it's actually ending. So it's the new moon in Virgo, or sorry, not Virgo, Aries, because we're in Aries, not Virgo. We're in Aries because that's the season we're in. And the time for anybody that kind of needs these extra little dates and numbers and things that you like in astrology, which is really important. Why? And I say this all the time, and so does Nancy, is look at your own natal chart. Where are these in your chart to know what's actually happening for you personally? So the Aries new moon is at 19 degrees. That's where it's happening. So go see what's happening in your Aries part. See what house it's in. See if anything's aligning within that time. Starting at 11:21 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So Nancy's time is when that new moon will be at its full, like at its peak of it in the full newness. And that eclipse starts just a couple minutes before that, but runs longer throughout that. So check your timing and location. So then we move in, I'll talk about the full moon. So the full moon on the 23rd is the Scorpio. The Scorpio full moon, which is one of my favorite ones. Um, so, and fitting for this eclipse season, right where everything is, right? Because Scorpio is that deep dive. It's a water sign. A lot of people think it's a fire sign. It is a water sign. It is ruled by Pluto. It is the ruler of the underworld. There's that deep dive down for us to learn and journey and then rise back up like the phoenix, right? What we're bringing, there's the same energy that came in with this month saying, where am I going? What am I claiming? And onward I go. So on the 23rd, we have it's the full moon is 4 degrees of Scorpio. So go to see what's happening in your natal chart. Astro seek.com is what I like to use. There's other ones out there that you can get your free birth chart. You just need to know your time, your location, birth date, all those things. If you don't know your birth time, there is a little box that says unknown, and you can just check in where you energetically feel. Was it early in the morning? Was it noontime? And feel and tune in. Use your gifts to hone into a particular time that you feel like, yeah, that was in that window of this particular time. You could throw that in, and then you'll be able to go look at your chart. Other things that are coming in, as I already said, throughout the month, we have Taurus season. Sun enters Taurus on the 19th, nice and fresh and new. So we get into that earthy, grounded, fun, playful. It's also coming up to Beltane season's coming. The wheel is going to be turning. We used to say on the sunset of April 30th is when we start welcoming the energy of Beltane, of Beltane. And May 1st is the general one that most people will celebrate that day. Of course, there is a true cross-quarter day to that. I will talk about that with the next forecast. But there's that energy, that freshness, the maiden energies. So talking about these sacred rhythms part that I say, we also talk about the sacred rhythms of the Celtic wheel of the year, of the seasonal year. And so there's that freshness, that aliveness within us that we want to get out. We want to have some fun. We want to explore, but almost like this fresh, innocent, making friends, celebrating, getting out. The weather kind of like starts helping us, supporting us with that too, right? So we feel that energy lifting and rising, especially once we get through that full moon, Scorpio, clear that. It's powerful, and I'm also energetically feeling what I'm seeing and hearing is slow down and listen to this one. Be in it. Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's also where the portal will close for the eclipse season on that day. So take a pause. Myself, I will be in Ireland. I'll be flying. And in that day in Ireland. So looking at the time, so it's not till that night, really, afternoon, evening. It's 4:49 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on that Scorpio full moon. So that I will already personally be landed and had a little bit of a nap and everything, because it'll be way late at night that night for me in Ireland. But for you guys on that 23rd, just take that day and that night of the 23rd to just honor, like, check out that full moon. It's Scorpio. It's powerful. It's watery. It's deep. It's emotions. And it's closing the eclipse season. Be with yourself. Feel everything that has opened up since this eclipse season. And I feel like there'll be another beautiful wall that may appear or filter in front of you that says doors, that says veil, that says step through me, and I will help you. What do you think about that, Nancy? How are you feeling about that full moon and everything?
Well, and then I was just looking at the numerology, and it's the 8 energy day, and right in an 8 energy year, like hello, right? That Jack of Clubs, like okay, so the Jack, you're elevated, you're in that leadership mastery of yourself, but you're having fun still. You're not the king, you're not the queen, you don't have to know it all, but you get to know what you know and enjoy it and express it. And so I feel like, oh, what beautiful partnership in that energy to support that day. And having come off the Queen of Clubs energy the day before, right? With that 7 energy of just calling yourself higher, trusting your inner knowing, your intuition. We keep talking about that this month, like as every month, but once again, here's another example for us to lean into our own trust of self. And then I had just looked down at my notes and was like, oh, right, I had written a few oil suggestions. And one of them was sandalwood partnered with jasmine. And that was, had written down beside that, say hello to your inner truth. And so it was just like, oh yes, like there's so much of that energy this month and on those days especially. So if you're going to be intentional about using your oils, your gifts, if you don't have them and you want to just call in the energetics of those, you can do that as well. But really just another tool to support us in this beautiful energy of this month. Um, and then, so I had also written down two blends to help support with the solar eclipse energy. So I'll just throw those out right now. One of them I called Blackout. And so this was like Northern Escape, which is a doTERRA blend, but a lot of earthy, woodsy oils partnered with copaiba. And really that's like unmasking. So the earthy oils are helping to ground us. And then the copaiba is really around the unmasking, the unlayering. So it's like, okay, the reason I said blackout was because it's just like black out all the other stuff, right? It's like, and just focus inwards on yourself. And then the other one was darkness, which was lemongrass, geranium, cedarwood, and cypress. And that's really just, that blend is really to help us to be able to be alive in the darkness. So often people are like, oh, it's scary in there, and it can be, and all of those things. But we are also living beings in that time. So how can we love? So the geranium's in there to really help to find that self-love in that. The lemongrass is there to help us to clear. The cedarwood is there to help us remember that even in the darkness, there is connection and partnership always. And then the cypress is to help us to flow, to be able to move through it, not out, but through. So those were just a couple of blends that I was like, oh, that help with the solar eclipse. And especially when I was thinking of them, a lot of people had been reaching out, being like, oh, I'm not sure. And I was like, it's okay. Like, feel into it. Don't, once again, choose. It's a big word here, but choose what feels right for you. But these are some blends that will help to support you if you choose to.
Love that. What would be one or two oils that you would recommend when we get through the the solar eclipse, or when we, whether they can use it after that, or even when
Yeah.
we get to that full moon, like somewhere in there where we just feel like we need the brightness, the freshness. I'm always thinking citrus when I think
Yep.
of that. What would you recommend for that energetic?
So how perfect. My other blend I created was called Heart Song. And so this is lime. So lime is like zest for life, like geranium, rose, and ylang ylang. So ylang ylang likes to connect us with our inner child. Rose and geranium are all around love, self-love, trust, and then throwing in that lime for that exuberance, that zest for life, that creative spark energy. So those together, just really, I'm feeling over my heart space, and just to help to express what it is that you are creating in this world out there. And then one other one that I had also created was creative expression, which is lime, cardamom, Siberian fir, and spearmint. And like, this is really get your solar plexus going, like that moving forward energy, and just allowing the inspiration to flow without judgment, and just play.
I love
Play.
that. So, are you going to type those up or do some kind of things for the Cosmic Earth Weavers
I
community?
absolutely will. It will probably be tomorrow by the time I get to post them, but I will absolutely do those for this month.
I think a lot of people are, we're not really getting back into a routine or into the week till tomorrow.
Yeah.
We can see that even within our community right now, because there's a different, and normally we have a lot of people here, and I'm just like, people are still on like just holidays, or the month hasn't really started, or the week hasn't started, and I can feel that myself. So, um, love when you do those posts up, because I hear them. I'm like, oh, I want to do that one. And then my brain, though, listening to it, just it's gone. So it's great. We can have those. And I'm sure the other community members love that too. What to leave with? Yes, I love that there's an 8 energy day on that 23rd.
Mhm.
It's my first, like I said, day landing into Ireland, and that's Scorpio full moon. And I love the 8, and we are in the still all year long, this 8 energy year for all of us. And yeah, it's potential, it's newness. Um, it is that alchemizing, really important for us to take those moments with what's happening in the eclipse season, the closing of the eclipse season, the freshness of this month, the new adventure, because it just feels like the rest, at least these next few months, when I lean into May, June, like the summertime months and that, it feels light. And I know there seems to be a lot of doom and gloom and oh my gosh, and there's just so much and everything's coming out and surfacing and things that have been hidden. And friggin' we got a Scorpio full moon closing out this eclipse. And Scorpio is that what's hidden, the secrets. All right. And eclipses are helping with what needs to be revealed. Right. So there is all that. Take what you need to and alchemize it, because some of it can be really heavy and jarring for some. Um, Even this morning, I saw something which I've known about since pre 2020 when everything started to ramp up in different ways. And I saw a post this morning and I'm like, I'm aware of it. I'm sure the post is to shake up people going, what? But just watch it. I chose to watch it and just feeling the heaviness and the darkness and the nauseating stuff with some of these things. So the eclipse season is really helping us move and shift and alchemize some of this on our planet within us. So when you see something or something's coming up within you, your emotions, there's something from the past, any of that, the Chiron energy that's saying, hey, look at this, feel it, sit with it, say hello, and ask for that divine support to alchemize it, to transform it, transmute it, right? So that we can lift it into higher vibrations, into love, into light. So our own personal stuff that's being shown and healed for us, the stuff around us and people and relationships, our closest circle, and it just spirals out into the collective, our communities, our countries, everything. Just allow that to keep happening. Just think of that through this month, this light from the dark to light, from the dark to light, from the dark to light, transmuting, alchemizing, fresh new potential, love, kindness, with grace and ease. Nancy had said those words at the beginning of this, I heard grace and ease and moving forward, and find that freshness and that hope of what you want to see blooming in your life. So that's when I'm going to leave this, our beautiful April forecast from Nancy and I with. Let us know how you guys are doing. Thank you, Nancy, for another beautiful time together at the start of the
Thank
month.
you.
And Nancy will be seeing our community tomorrow. She will be doing a Reiki session for you guys to help with prosperity for our Prosperity Tuesdays in the community. And I'm going to be popping in on Wednesday. Don't know my time yet because I've got a few things going on, but I will be dropping in to do a workshop, our mini workshop on body and soul frequency channeling. So I will let you guys know ahead of time, hey, I'm going to be at this time live. It will always be there for the replay, same with Nancy's. And like I said, we always like to organize things. So the guides tab always has things organized there for you. So thank you so much for being here with us and on the replay. And we will see you in the community when we see you.
Amazing.
Bye for now.